I think I can talk about fast food for 45 minutes or so without any preparation and talk about suggestions for people.
I think I could talk about fast food I love for 45 minutes. No problem
Yeah,
at all.
we could do that too.
Hello, and welcome to Middleish, the podcast about moderation in all things. I am Michael Gray.
And I am Erin Green.
Erin Green, everybody, Erin Green.
Man, you are, I don't know if your mic is hot or if you are just full of energy today, but it sounded.
Is it a little hot?
My volume is turned up.
Should I turn it down a little bit?
It was like I was at a concert or something, and all of a sudden the sound is like in your brain, like.
Hey, I know how to announce somebody.
Vibrating.
I know how to announce somebody.
Woo! I am.
Is that better?
awake.
I think it
Yeah,
was up
we're
a little
good.
bit.
I think we're good. I think my volume was up too. So,
Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning. How's your brain now that it's been rattled around?
Oh, it is awake. We're awake. I'm on my second cup of coffee. We're gonna get some shit done today. I can tell.
Mm-hmm. Well, did you notice I got a haircut? So
I did.
Yeah, I
say,
think for the last like six episodes, I've had a hat on because it's been like so long and shaggy. I needed a haircut for like 3 months. So yeah.
Yep.
So that might be part of it. I'm faster now because I'm lighter and more aerodynamic. So I think I'm just like, a little more sassy.
Yeah. And your head is bigger when you get a haircut. So your brain is bigger. So that makes sense, right?
That made complete sense to me.
Sure. Well, just saying
it sounded a lot like science.
It's Erin science.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Well, I think science anymore is just whatever you want it to be.
I think
science is just opinions.
Is what I believe. That's what a science conversation is anymore.
Yeah. We can just say that's what a science is. I like that. That's what a science is. You sound like Italian. That's what a science is.
It's a science.
It's a science.
I found this email subscription. I can't remember how I came across it, but it's called Nerd Snacks. And they send you a little newsletter. I think it's twice a week. And it has these nerdy scientific just factoids and stories. And this morning they had one on this experiment that was done in Hungary on dogs, where they put the dogs in, they put headphones on the dogs, and then they put them in what would it be? Not like a CAT scanner, but like some way to like measure their brain waves. And the dogs can distinguish between different languages, even if they've never heard that language before. So they took a dog from Spain and brought him to Hungary, and then played the dog different languages. They played him Spanish, and then they played him Hungarian, and he'd never heard Hungarian before, but his brain indicated that he could understand, oh, that's a language. Isn't that wild? And then they also played the dog gibberish, and the dog didn't have the light up in his brain like, oh, that's a language. So he could distinguish like, oh, Spanish is a language, Hungarian is a language, but gibberish doesn't do anything for me.
Wow. That's pretty cool.
That's a science.
That's a science. Okay, 2 things. One, I wrote down Nerd Snacks because I'm going to subscribe. Nerd Snacks. Yeah. 2, can It's a Science be like, on coffee mugs and t-shirts for Middleish? Would we get in trouble for that? Is that like,
I don't think so.
Stereotyping?
It's a science.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Okay. I think we can get away with it.
I think we have so many ideas for
it's
coffee mugs and t-shirts. It's a science.
I really like that a lot.
And some kind of Italian, like, like a graphic or a, cartoon or
if
something.
It was like maybe like a slice of pizza, and it said like,
brilliant.
Pizza makes you stronger. It's a science.
Pizza is a superfood. It's a science.
It's a science. Yeah.
We got it.
Man, I'm really glad you all joined us for our brainstorming session.
I told you your brain was bigger today. It's working.
It is. Yeah. I think it's leaking out the sides a little bit.
You've got those plugs in. You're okay.
Maybe I just need to clean my ears. I don't know.
So else?
How are you?
What are we talking about today? Oh, I'm good.
You're good.
Getting through the week. It's kind of looking like one of those weeks, and so I'm just trying trying to stay ahead of the tidal wave, so to speak. Some weeks are like that. Others are just super easy.
Yay.
But I know, sounds really great. I'm trying to stay very neutral in this space, because yesterday when Matt came home from work, there were tears, and it was only Monday. And I was like, oh my God, this doesn't bode well. So it's a new day. I'm going to stay ahead of the tidal wave. I can do this. I've done harder things before. I can do this.
Okay. So in my mind, staying ahead of a tidal wave paints a picture that is
of like pure anxiety and fear.
Like, sure, of course you're going to try, but you're not going to do it. I know it's not how you meant it, but it's like, oh, that sounds bad.
Doesn't sound great, does it? Well,
yeah.
How about you?
We want to, what's new? I don't know. Nothing really. Just kind of.
Oh, okay. Well, let's just dive in then.
Yeah. Do we want to give any specifics on what we've kind of been teasing? You want to do that at the end?
Oh, we can talk about it.
Yeah. You want to do that? Okay.
Yeah, let's tell our listeners what they're in for. At least the loose framework that we
Here's what you're in for.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we've been kind of brainstorming and thinking about just how we want to present Middleish and the concepts we bring and that kind of stuff. And so we're going to make some changes to how we're doing things. And Erin's going to tell you all about those. Go, Erin.
Okay, go, Erin.
I'm just kidding.
Apparently,
I can do it. I'm just kidding.
Well, I can give a little bit of background how this came about. So our podcast is, it's over a year and a half old now. And we've been very consistent with the hour-long podcasts every week. And our listenership has, I would say it's slowly sort of declined over the last, 6 months or so. And we're holding stable at a certain number, but it's not where it was, last year at this time. So we've been talking about different ways that, maybe we want to, still bring to you the conversations that all of our listeners are enjoying, but how do we reach a little broader of an audience? How do we make this podcast a little more accessible? Because an hour sometimes is challenging for people to carve out, hour give and take. So we are going to come up with a framework where we still produce weekly content, but we're going to get a little creative with how that is brought to you and open up some other opportunities to engage with our audience, because I think that's what we're really after, is true engagement with our audience and not just sitting here having a conversation between me and Michael.
Right.
So the first Monday of the month will continue to be our regular hour-long podcast. Right?
Yes. Yep. And we're going to try to keep that about an hour, a little bit less. So we're going to try to shave down time a little bit just to make that a little more accessible for people. First Monday. Right.
So then we're going to, the next week, we're going to have some shorter like reels or Instagram content. And then the third week, we're going to have a live. So Instagram live, we might do Facebook live, but I think we're going to stick with Instagram for now, just because we have a Middleish podcast account on Instagram. And
so make sure you follow us on Instagram. Yeah. Because that's where it's going to be popping, right?
Yep. Middleish_podcast. That's us, right?
Yeah.
Just
I'm pretty sure.
There's an underscore in there. Oh my gosh, you guys, check. We're so ready to bring this to you. It's Middleish_podcast, y'all. Okay. So we're going to do some lives. We're going to bring you some more specific tips. The idea is each month we're going to have this theme throughout the month. So for example, we just released our emotional eating podcast. With that one, we'd do the hour-long kind of deep dive, really get into the topic. And then the next week we'll have some kind of tip or educational
exercises.
Something that you can do to actually use that information in your life and apply it. Maybe even observations that Michael and I have, applying this information in our lives or with clients, and, share that with all of you so that it's more relatable. So you don't just listen to the podcast and it's done and, move on.
Yep, exactly. And so I think, oh, sorry. I think part of this is like, I really like how we've done things. And I think we've done things perfectly like we wanted to up to this point, and so it's not like we're not dissatisfied with how we've been delivering content or anything. But as Erin and I were talking about this, we kind of realized, like we talk about a topic, really important stuff, we have an hour-ish long discussion around this, and then 6 days later it's something new, and 6 days later it's something new. And, a lot of this is we thought, man, if we could really dive deeper into some of these topics, give you like some practical exercises, spend some time sitting with these, through the course of a month, it might be a lot more beneficial for our listeners. And it might be less just sort of like entertaining, educational, informative, and a little more like actually educational and practical and helpful and transformative. Which is really what we want with this. So we're really excited about the idea of just like diving into these topics, a lot more deeply, and spending some time sitting with these and that kind of thing. That was kind of a big motivator for this change.
And bringing you some fun content that coincides with these topics, and then the Instagram Live is really designed to again, kind of reflect on, what have we heard through the week from our listeners? We get messages, we get emails, we get comments and engagement. We want to kind of bring that out to our audience and share some of those thoughts and different questions. So we're asking all of you to please help us with that and engage with us, and, send us. I mean, a lot of you have my phone number. You can text me. A lot of you have Michael's phone number. You can text him. You can message us.
I didn't say that. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, well, I'm
you
volunteering.
Can text me.
Message us, through Instagram or email, middleish@gmail.com. And so that's going to be our new format. This is a trial, y'all. So if you're hearing this and you're like, damn, I love the 1 hour episodes, I love the conversations, don't worry, you'll be able to give us that feedback. And this isn't necessarily permanent or the way it's going to be. We're just trying some new things and seeing how it works for everybody. So we appreciate your feedback and input on, the next few months as we roll this out.
Yeah. And there still will be, weekly regular content. It's just going to look a little bit different. So you'll be hearing us from just as maybe more often, I don't know, but just in different ways. So we're excited. We were talking about this, and as we kind of like were whittling it down to what we decided on, we both got really excited about this, because we think it's just going to provide some opportunities to really, like I said, just really dive into this stuff and hopefully just help elicit some deeper change, which that's the whole point. Yeah. All right.
Good stuff. Okay. Cool. Now that that's out there,
you want to talk about burgers and fries?
Let's do it.
Let's talk about burgers and fries.
Is that your fast food of choice?
Yeah. If I'm going to get fast food, I'm probably going to get burgers and fries. Okay. Here's the question. Okay. This is a really good question. So let's do this.
It's a really good one.
I got really excited.
I can't wait.
I know, right? Okay. So let me back up for a second. Our topic today is talking about fast food.
Yes.
And how do we navigate it? Like, how do we utilize it? Just kind of all things around fast food. And it's because the reality is, like, it's a real common occurring thing in most people's weeks. Like, it pops up a lot, right? You're grabbing a burger, whether it's planned or not, whatever. And we're just gonna kind of talk all angles around that. But first things first, Erin. So let's say you're going to get fast food. You can go anywhere you want. You don't have, like, let's not even say like you're going to finish it all. Like, just where do you want to go, and what are all the things you want to get?
All the things. Oh, geez.
Yeah. Build your perfect fast food meal, Erin.
Oh, geez. Well, that's kind of hard for me because there are a lot of, I'm sure, delicious fast food options that I have not even explored because I just haven't explored fast food for a while. But some of my favorites, I'm going to kind of go back to the days when I was growing up because I had a decent amount of fast food and I enjoyed certain items. I loved Arby's growing up, roast beef sandwich or roast beef cheddar. Yeah, their curly fries are amazing.
Their curly fries are pretty dope.
They had this sauce on their cheddar roast. What is it even called? Cheddar roast beef and cheddar that
Maybe.
was like it was like a sweeter kind of sauce that they'd put on it. So you get like that kind of salty, tangy thing going on from the meat and cheese. And
I
then you
think
get
it's
this
the
roast
Arby's sauce.
Oh my
It looks like
goodness.
barbecue sauce.
Yeah, so good.
Yeah.
I will also say that their chicken fingers are like
I've
I
had
can't
those.
think of chicken fingers that I've had that I enjoy more. Well,
Really?
I
That's
did have
exciting.
some at a little drive-through place in Emporia, Kansas, right after I finished
Mhm.
that 206-mile bike race, and
That's
those
right.
were amazing. So, okay.
Nice.
What else? I loved taco time growing up, and so I would
Mm.
say just like a like beef burrito, just very
Mhm.
simple. That was always one of my favorites. McDonald's, just a simple McDonald's cheeseburger and their fries. I don't know. This will probably start a huge debate, like who has the best fast food fries. But I
We can
think
talk about that.
fresh McDonald's fries that have salt on them are really tough to beat. Like
They're pretty
the
good.
real fresh ones.
They're pretty good.
Um, yeah. I mean, those
Yeah.
are kind of my go-to. I mean, like the standard, the things that you would go for at a fast food restaurant, the salty, the greasy, the
Mhm.
carb heavy, the fat heavy, very tasty, crispy, flavor bomb in your mouth sort of stuff. That's,
Mhm.
I mean, that's what
Yeah.
fast food is, right?
That's what you want. Yeah.
Hmm. What do you
So
like?
mine, I think it's funny. My friends and I, we've had like long debates about this.
Oh, really?
We feel like we've like come to a consensus that it's not what I want all the time if I'm getting fast food, but I think my perfect fast food order is Jack in the Box. It's 2 tacos,
Oh,
a sourdough jack, and curly fries.
oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah. Yep. So, we don't have taco time down here. But I do like a crispy bean burrito. Those are tough to beat.
Mm-hmm.
And I really like a Whopper. And I really like Taco Bell, to be honest. So sometimes if I'm getting
You
fast food, I'll get
know,
Taco Bell. But
I never fell in love with Taco Bell, and
no, I can
I mean,
I get it.
I went all through college and I love Pita Pit. That is I don't know if they have that
Mm-mm.
nationwide. Maybe they do, but
Not down here.
it's a franchise that I think started here in the Northwest, like in, Idaho or Washington. And it was just super popular among the college students at University of Idaho. And I mean, they have relatively healthful things, like you can get grilled chicken in your pita or whatever, and it's just a pita bread full of this choice of sauces and veggies and toppings and whatever you want. That was probably like my go-to in college. Or Mickey D's was probably another one,
Yeah.
but Taco Bell just never did it for me. There were some others that people loved that I like. Some people love Burger King, and that just never, I mean, I would eat a
I love a
Whopper, but it
Whopper.
just wasn't.
Mm.
You love I mean, what fast food don't you like, Michael?
Okay, that's a good question. It's okay, so I don't know that if there's like fast food that I'd be like, no thanks. I mean, there's definitely ones like I'm never gonna go to Chick-fil-A or Wendy's on my own, but like if girls want to go, sure, yeah, I'll grab something and I'll be happy, but I'm never gonna go there, you know. My standards are gonna be Taco Bell or Jack in the Box or Burger King. Once in a while, Whataburger, because I do like Whataburger, and
Mm.
sometimes it's nice to have something different. But yeah, I don't know if there's a fast food place I've been like, no, I don't want to eat there.
Well, and there's huge cult
Sonic,
followings.
not a fan of
Oh,
Sonic. Yeah,
Sonic.
Lila loves
There's
Sonic. I'm like, no
Oh
thanks.
boy. There's huge cult followings for things like In-N-Out Burger or
Mhm.
Five Guys. And I mean, I've said before, Matt and I did this burger challenge a while back, several years ago, and we loved Smash Burger. Now we've been back and it's been ho hum for us. And so
Mhm.
our love has kind of fallen out of favor with Smash Burger. But um I think there's cult followings to different fast food restaurants. And I mean, this might
Sure.
be a good, first point to talk about. But I think one of the draws of fast food is that people have a predictable, almost guaranteed like expectation of what their meal is going to be,
Right.
what they could get on the menu. They know it's accessible. I mean, you're not going to go to lunch at In-N-Out and have them say, "Oh, we're out of burgers." Like you just, so
Right.
I think it really um plays off of that sort of instant
Mhm.
gratification and that expectation that we have as humans where we want what we want when we want it which is right now. And fast food is like the epitome of that in American culture.
Yeah. And it's like you said, it's really consistent. I mean, it happens, sometimes you go to Subway and you get like stale bread or something, or,
Right.
they overcook the fries. But I mean, 95% of the time you go to any McDonald's, it's going to taste the same. You go to any Burger King, it's going to taste the same. And there's something really nice about that predictability, right? Like you said, you know what you're going to get. You can imagine what it's going to taste like before you get there, because the last 100 times you've had it, it's been the exact same. And that's really nice. And I think between that and the convenience and the usually affordability, it makes fast food a pretty big draw, that I get, that I enjoy as well, Yeah. So I think, go ahead.
I was just going to, basically agree with you that I think that's what makes it so hard for people to step away from the fast food. And I say step away, kind of tongue in cheek, but we're not going to tell you today. I mean, we just spent like the last 5 minutes droning on about the fast food that we enjoy and why we like it. So we're not going to tell you not to eat fast food. What we're hoping to do today is present just a few nutritional considerations and maybe listening to your body kinds of cues and considerations when you do eat fast food, and then maybe navigating fast food menus, or if you are the type of person that is on the go all the time and fast food is simply a part of your life, we're going to basically help you navigate those menus, navigate the world of fast food with a little finesse, and just understand that, yes, it's okay to eat this stuff. We also want to keep other factors on, on your radar in terms of health and in terms of your hunger and satiety cues and what actually speaks to you and feels good to eat. So,
Yep. Like, just to reiterate, I guess, from my perspective, like, there's no judgment here. Like, this isn't about judging and how do you avoid fast food and how do you only make the best choices ever at fast food places. Like, we're not doing that. I ate Taco Bell this weekend and it was delicious and disgusting all at the same time. And I loved it. Like there's zero judgment here. Okay. But if you're wanting to make choices that are more in line with your goals, or if your family's wanting to grab fast food and you're like, I just really don't want to have that, if you are, like Erin said, if you're someone who's just on the go a lot, or, you've got like busy evenings and it's just easy to grab something, it just works. If, you're long day at work, or, short lunch and you just need to grab whatever. Here's some ways that if you're wanting to make different decisions from what you're used to, then here's how we can do that. And so that's all this is. This is adding to your tool belt. This isn't shaming or judging for eating fast food, because that's stupid. And if anyone does that, stop listening to them. Right? But seriously though, like, how many like trainers and stuff just totally like shit on fast food,
and there's a lot of fear
make you feel terrible
around it.
Yeah,
it's not real food, and
oh my God, yes it is.
Well, this is where like the dietitian in me, and I should say like the original dietitian in me, okay, the
OG,
the OG Erin Green,
the OGD. OGRD. I like that.
Yeah, really was skeptical of our food industry at large, the ultra processed foods, the fast foods, and putting all of that, the flavor enhancers in your mouth, putting all the fat and sodium in your body, the imbalance that you get with less fiber and, that kind of stuff. Like, sure, there are nutritional considerations with any food you eat, not just fast food, that we need to take into account when we're talking about overall health. At the same time, I think there is just a ton of vilification that goes into processed foods in general and fast food that ultimately doesn't help the cause of people being healthier. And I say this because all of my work with intuitive eating and all of my work with helping people understand that all foods fit really lends itself to pay attention to what actually works for you, what speaks to you, what feels good in your body, what do you notice about eating certain foods and how that feels and how your energy levels are and how satisfying that is. I think that those cues are just lost in the world of when you do hear this messaging that like fast food is horrible and it's scary and don't eat it at any, avoid it at all costs kind of stuff. So that's kind of the angle I want to hit on today.
Yeah. And damn it, I knew as soon as I had this thought, you ever have a thought and you're like, I'm going to lose it? Like, I know it's
Michael,
it's
that
not
happens
like
to you
here.
every
It's
episode.
not every episode.
Almost.
Most episodes, but not every. Okay. Dang it. Wow, crap. What was I going to say? I don't know.
It'll come
We were
back to
talking
you.
about,
It always does.
It probably will. So I
It
have
always
nothing to say at
does.
this point. I hope you got a point because I lost my.
I can keep going on.
Okay, good.
So the original Erin Green RD.
OG RD.
Yeah. Really was like, oh, how can you choose the, fewer calories when you go eat fast food? And how can you swap this for that? And how can you avoid it altogether? And what can you do? Those strategies, I think, are still worthwhile to talk about. I mean, there's different ways to kind of navigate a menu and choose, grilled over fried, or look for words like smothered or, melted, or things like that kind of indicate that there's, a
deliciousness
higher fat component.
Right?
Deliciousness.
Like,
Yeah.
You're saying pick those, right? Because they're going to be better.
What I'm saying is pick what you want.
Yeah.
And be honest with yourself about how it tastes to you. So, I mean, for example, some people would go out to fast food and if they don't have a sound relationship with food, they might tell themselves, oh, I need to get the full deal, right? I need to get the burger with the fries and it's got to have the extra sauce on it, or I've got to go get, the nachos that are super loaded and put extra stuff on it. And, oh, I've got to eat the whole thing because, quote, this is not supposed to happen, or this is kind of, I'm breaking the rules. And so then you eat past fullness. Maybe you don't even really enjoy the food. And I have seen this play out with so many of my clients when we really get into intuitive eating, and we don't even specifically talk about fast food at first. We just simply talk about food and how you appreciate it, how it feels, what flavors you like, what textures, what speaks to you, what works for you. And as we start picking apart all those things and building awareness, then said client will go eat out and they'll be like, man, I used to get this and I tried it and it just didn't really do anything for me this time.
Yeah.
Or I only ate half of what I would normally eat and I was satisfied because I was listening to my body. So the idea here, again, like you can put those strategies in, what has maybe fewer calories, or, maybe get a salad instead of the fries with your burger, whatever. Those strategies are totally fine. But if you really want the fries, get the damn fries and enjoy them, and be honest with yourself about if they hit the mark or not, because food can be disappointing too. Food that we put on a pedestal, that it's supposed to be so delicious and you're supposed to want it every time it's available to you, and you're supposed to eat it all because it's, quote, naughty. You're not supposed to eat that way.
Naughty
food.
Naughty food.
It can be disappointing, and that's okay too.
Yep. Yeah.
It's okay to not love fast food.
Yeah. So I think, like, this is my point. I remembered it.
See, trust me, Michael, it always comes back to you.
Trust me. Like when we're looking at how we eat, like fast food, like I don't want to single fast food out as like its own like unique special thing, and that's not what we're doing here. We're not intending like there's regular food and then there's this kind of food. It's all just food. But these kind of like what we're talking about as far as like these guidelines and what we want to accomplish today. Erin made a really good point in that like it's more about whether it's fast food or a restaurant or eating at home. A lot of the times it's not about what, it's about like why and how, right? Like we've talked about before, like why do I want this food? Like what is driving these cravings, or paying attention to your body about like how hungry am I? What is my body communicating to me? And if we can like get in tune with those things, then a lot of times, like Erin's saying, the what doesn't matter as much because we kind of have these regulators these internal regulators that are not coming from places of guilt and shame or obligation, but just as like, where am I at? Kind of like govern that and navigate it. And so we don't need to worry about that as much, you know. And I think a lot of times it's easy to get caught up in like, what are the calories? Is this the low carb tortilla? Do you have this option? And it's like, well, that's not inherently a negative thing, but it's also maybe kind of missing some of the point, you know? And so as we talk about some of those things, realize like those aren't maybe the point. They're kind of like some tools, but also it's really important to like what's going on behind the scene of making the decision and the choice.
Yep. Yeah. Excellent point. And I have a story to kind of illustrate that. So the final principle in intuitive eating is practicing gentle nutrition. We've talked about that before, and gentle nutrition is exactly how it sounds. We know certain things about nutrient packages in food, about how our bodies operate and the physiology and how to support good health outcomes. We know these things to be true. So it's not like you can refute what we know about good nutrition. However, gentle nutrition. So it means you don't have to put yourself into this box with very specific rules, and you don't have to, like Michael likes to say, white knuckle it, and really ratchet down and restrict. So I had a client recently who she is in a scientific field. She's very well read in, research and peer-reviewed literature. And so we had these really fun conversations about the evidence behind some of the recommendations around food and nutrition. And of course, her initial reason for coming to me is, I want to lose a bit of weight. I really want to, my weight has been trending up over the years. I really want to learn more about nutrition and how best to support my body. So through these conversations, we really dug into, it was like having a little nutrition lesson every time we met, where we would talk about, well, this is how this works. And this is, here are some reasons why this food is recommended over this food for this very specific reason. Well, she was traveling over Christmas, and where she was going, her family would really rely on fast food a lot. And she was like, oh my gosh, I have really made this effort she was very interested in heart health because she had some considerations there. And so we talked a lot about the principles of supporting good heart health, which is increased fiber, watching saturated fats, watching ultra processed foods and high simple carbohydrates, and really focusing on, more plant foods and protein. I mean, we had these conversations around nutrition, but with no expectation that you have to restrict certain things. Okay. Or that this is bad, you can never have it. So I proposed, well, let's pull up the menus of some of these fast food places that your family likes to frequent, because they had this very predictable, like, we're going to this one, we're going to this one. And we pulled up the menus and we looked through things together. We talked about the different nutrient packages and the different kinds of meals that are on the menu and options for her. And we talked very openly about ways you could modify that meal or not, depending on what you enjoy, depending on what tastes good to you. And she was like, I could totally do a lettuce wrapped burger. Like, she cares less about the bun. She thinks that fast food hamburger buns taste like air. Like, they don't do anything for her. I, on the other hand,
delivery vehicle.
Yeah, it's just a way to get the burger patty in your mouth. I, on the other hand, am like, I cannot even imagine eating a burger without a bun. Like, it just sounds totally unappealing to me. But she's the one driving the bus here. It's her dietary pattern. It's her life. It's her preferences. And she's well informed of the nutritional values and implications of the different choices she has. And so she can make an informed choice. And it has nothing to do with, should I or shouldn't I? This is right or wrong, that restrictive kind of mindset. It was just very much an objective. And again, we planned ahead of time, which is another piece, which I'll talk a little more about that in a second. But I wanted to share that story just to show, to your point, it depends on what's behind the decisions you're making around fast food. This was pre-planned. She knew it was going to happen. It was anticipated. She wanted to make an informed decision. I've seen people do spontaneous fast food runs just because, or emotional fast food runs. You want to pay attention to those kinds of things too. So
Yeah. So that's great. Fantastic point. I completely agree. And I don't think I have anything to add.
It's kind of a long one. So
Yeah, that's good. So let's jump to your next one. Cause it's honestly, this is one of my favorite things for navigating to is pre-decide, right?
mm,
Like decide ahead of time. Even with like, I think this can be really helpful for people like going to restaurants, like
mhm.
that afternoon, if you're going somewhere for dinner, look at the menu and just be like, okay, let me just think through when I'm not in the moment and hungry and smelling the food and, all that kind of stuff. Let me think through, what do I want to eat tonight? Whatever that is, not to make the most, low calorie, nutrient dense decision possible, but just to make the decision that you want to make. That's the
Yeah.
point. And if we go in and we've decided ahead of time what we're going to do, it just makes it easy. And then we're like, that's a good kind of control that we're like demonstrating, right? It's like I'm going to decide ahead of time, and then I'm going to go in and I don't even need a menu, because I know what I want. And I think that can be really beneficial to paying attention to what actually sounds good, what we actually want, that kind of thing. Because when we're in the moment, like honestly, like I think most of us like either we get what looks really good or
Mhm.
just do what we usually do.
Yeah.
And there's nothing like really wrong with those things. I'm not saying those are bad things, but those may be more likely to not be making like a conscious choice, just sort of just doing whatever. And if you want the fully loaded, double burger and smothered fries, cool. If that's what you want, do it. But
Right.
making that conscious choice and putting a second of thought into it ahead of time when you're not in the moment can really help you clarify, is this what I actually want? Or is this just like that because it looks delicious, or that
Yeah.
because it's just what I always do? And it's more of it's more of a choice than just a reaction.
Yeah. Yeah. You're prepared and
Yeah.
you're right. It's not reactionary. Now, I would say this is probably a more important practice for those of you who do identify yourselves as being that kind of spontaneous, almost emotional eater when it comes to fast food. Like it's this trying to fill a need that maybe isn't going to be filled through food.
Right.
We talked about this on our last episode. Um, if you tend to be that kind of person where you're like, oh, I'm going to just go what looks good on the menu, and it kind of leads you down this
Mhm.
path that ends up on the other side of that meal, you feel like, man, that really wasn't what I wanted or what I needed. I think this planning ahead piece is huge for you to just give it a little bit of
Yeah.
thought, be prepared. Um, and you don't even have to like go and scrutinize the menu and dig it up. I mean, most menus are available online, but I think just sitting with it for a few minutes before
Mhm.
you get in your car and
Yeah.
drive to the, fast food joint or, go out to eat. I think that can be really helpful. Just
Mhm.
checking in with yourself. That's all it is. Checking in with
Yep.
yourself, thinking about, what you want and how this serves you.
Yeah.
Um I have another funny story. When this was years ago, we were traveling with a group of friends and we ended up overnighting in Charlotte, South Carolina for our flight the next morning. And the only place within walking distance of our hotel was a Waffle House. And we
Mhm.
had never been to a Waffle House. And we we were with a couple friends who were vegetarian.
Mhm.
So we go into the Waffle House, and of course, I mean, it's a freaking Waffle House. Like, what is their menu? Like, you have to get a waffle. You're at the Waffle House, right?
It's in the name,
Well,
right?
they had the obligatory like couple salads on there.
Uh-huh.
And we go around the table, and me and Matt and our friend Ahmed all order waffles because
Uh-huh.
you're at a Waffle House. Okay.
Mhm.
Our friend Christy goes, I would like the chef salad with, do you have a balsamic vinaigrette? And we're all, I mean, it was like straight out of a TV show. Like we're just looking at each other and we're looking at her and we're like, she can't be serious. And she kind of stops and she sort of just like considers it for a second. And she goes, yeah, scratch that. I'm going to get a waffle. So I was just like, it may be
Oh,
like
that's
you're
awesome.
trying to eat, healthfully, you're trying to get a veggie serving, but also consider where you are and what's actually going to taste good. And she took a moment to just reconsider that I'm in a freaking Waffle House. A chef salad with balsamic is probably not going to taste very good, let alone really make a difference in the
Yeah.
grand scheme of my overall nutrition and health. So
It may not be what they do well.
maybe not. Otherwise,
Yeah.
they'd be like the waffle and salad house, and they're
Yeah.
just
The
not.
salad house. That's awesome. Like,
But
yeah,
I
our
think
chef salad comes in a bowl that's made of a waffle. And we don't have balsamic, but we have maple syrup.
yeah, yeah. I think it's helpful to look for color and veggies on a menu when you eat out.
Mhm.
I mean, I do. I think you can, of course, we can use that information to make informed decisions when we're eating out, particularly if you're that person who is doing a ton of lunch meetings or dinner meetings and you're eating out all
Mhm.
the time, maybe not even fast food. It might just be like restaurant fare, which any food that you eat that's not made at home is likely to be higher in salt and fat
Mhm.
and calories and carbs and everything. So
Yeah.
um, I think it can be helpful for you to pay attention to, oh, I would like a little more of a veggie serving with this meal.
Mhm.
What are my options? How can I do this?
Right.
Calorie wise, there are many salads out there that have just as many, if not more, than a burger or a taco or something
Yeah.
like that.
I
So
mean,
pay
like
attention to those
over
things too.
1,000. Like
Yeah.
these big old salads between
Mhm.
like, whatever breading and frying has gone on with the meat and the dressing
Mhm.
and the lots of cheese. Yeah. Tortilla
Right.
strips. And yeah,
And
it can add up quick.
my point bringing that up is not to say, oh, you need to watch calories, but it's
Right.
just to reiterate the fact that you may not be doing yourself as much good by getting a salad when you go
Right.
to fast food or when you go eat out as you would just getting the crispy burrito that you really want, and that one item will satisfy the heck out of your craving, whatever you're wanting at that point. So that's my
Right.
point bringing that up.
Yeah. And I think so, like, if you're getting fast food, you're probably not getting it because you're like, yeah, I'm making a really nutrient dense decision here.
Right.
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 And so like Erin said, like I think it's great to like look at how can I add some color to this, add a side salad or, whatever it is. But at the same time, understand that you're getting fast food because you're getting fast food. You're not getting
Yes.
like, you know, veggies, some really good carbs and lean protein, like
Right.
that's not what we're doing. And so understand that the point of fast food is for it to taste as good as possible, right? As
Yes.
quickly and cheaply as possible. And when that's the trifecta, like, yeah, we're probably not going to be like super low calorie on things. We're probably not going to be like real nutrient dense. That's okay. That's not the point. That's not what we're doing. So I think just having that understanding of like salads may not be the same as if you made it at home or even a nicer restaurant, because that's not what you're going in for. That's not what you're doing there. So just having that
Yeah.
awareness. But I do think it can be a good idea to look at how can I add some tomatoes and lettuce to this? Can I
Yeah.
get something on the side? That kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Can I get a dish with beans? I know with a lot of the fast food Mexican places, they'll have like a
Hmm.
tortilla soup that has like black beans in it or something. Those are usually decent options for getting some
Hmm.
fiber, some decent protein. It's filling because it's a soup. Don't be afraid to try those kinds of things and just kind of branch out. Now, if you're the person that's listening to this and you're like, okay, Erin and Michael, that's all well and good that fast food can fit once in a while, but I'm eating it all the time. Like it's
Hmm.
my craving, it's my typical habit during the work week. What do I do? Well, I do think that there needs to be some acknowledgement that we know consistent intake of imbalanced dietary pattern. It doesn't have to be fast food. It just means you're getting an
Right.
imbalance. You're not getting enough fiber, or you're not getting enough color, or
Hmm.
you're not getting enough protein. I mean, who knows? There's a lot of different factors that go into, eating these calorically dense, very flavorful foods and not getting enough of, some of these other foods.
Right.
I would say look at the frequency of that and see if you have any other options. I mean, is
Hmm.
fast food just kind of your habit? And so you need to change it? I would
Right.
revisit our episodes 2 and 3, I think is when we went through
Hmm.
habits and routines, and see if you can find ways to adjust that. It could be adjusting the things you order on the menu. It could be adjusting how you head into that meal. If you're super hungry and you can't think of anything but plowing through, a double-decker burger and a huge thing of fries, maybe it would help you to have a little snack a couple hours before that meal, and you would maybe end up eating to satisfaction and not having as much, so there's lots of ways to navigate that. You could choose different options. I like sending people to the grocery store deli and say,
That's what I
grab,
was just gonna say.
a vegetable option, grab a protein, grab a starch, you're good.
Yeah.
So
In fact, it's not going to take any more time. In fact, it may take less if you're going to a fast food around lunchtime. Those lines can be insanely long. So run into a grocery store and grab a little salad and a little like meat and cheese, package thing. Cool. You got a great lunch, that's might leave you with a little more energy and feel a little better, in your gut for the rest of the day. I think that's a really good option, and it's honest. A lot of times it can save you a lot of time. I also think, like you said, a lot of times we fall into a habit, and so it feels like that's the only option. There is the option to pack a lunch,
Oh, novel concept.
Sorry, I don't want to piss anybody off, and I understand things happen. Like it's a rush morning, you didn't get to it, whatever, meetings run late, I get it. Stuff happens, and we're not talking about that. We're talking about this habitual thing that if you are on a regular basis having to go and grab something, you could look at packing a lunch, at least some of the time. That doesn't have to be boring, it doesn't mean it has to suck or whatever, but planning that thing out, I think looking ahead at your week and what would be good days to, maybe you plan for a couple of days, like, yeah, I'm going to go grab a burger and I'm going to on Tuesday, and I'm going to grab a burrito on Friday, but maybe Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, I'm going to bring some stuff from home, saves me a little bit of money, maybe increases my nutrient profile, a little bit throughout the week, that kind of thing. So that's another very viable option that I think is easy to overlook sometimes, just because, like you said, we get in the habit of doing what we do, and then that's kind of what we're already doing, we see as the only options.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's a good point, that it really is a reflection of the overall dietary pattern that contributes to your health outcomes. It's not this meal or that meal. I mean, yes, it builds the whole picture, but having the fast food option a couple times a week that you can use, like, oh yeah, I've got a meeting this day, or, this fits better, or we don't have any food in the house, I'm just going to grab lunch and, make a plan for tomorrow. Having those instances a little less frequently will really contribute to the overall picture of health. And probably the final point I wanted to make today is going back to how it feels to eat certain foods. Literally, how does it feel in your body?
Yeah.
I know there have been times when I have eaten a large, heavy meal in terms of like very rich flavor and quite a bit of fat content in that meal, whether it's a fried meal or, it's got gravy or cheese or, cream involved. I mean, there's all kinds of
all
ways.
three.
All of it, all the things,
gravy, cream, and
that
cheese.
are just very, very flavorful. And remember, we talked about this. I don't remember what episode it was, about how the different macronutrients digest and kind of how they respond in your body in terms of, quick satiety from sugars, a little bit longer lasting satiety from starch, but then it falls off pretty quickly. Protein is somewhere in the middle, but then fat takes a while to register true satiety, but then it lasts the longest.
Yeah.
Keep that in mind when you're going to some of these fast food places that do have deep fried things, because there's just more fat content in those foods. And you might end up overeating past the point of comfortable fullness and satiety, because you just haven't quite registered that fat content of that meal until maybe an hour later. And then you're like, oh, geez, okay, my stomach is really full. That's another thing just to keep in mind.
Yeah, I agree.
Done. Eat the meal slowly and then just check in with yourself. Like, you can eat again. Did I put a bow on it? Are we done?
Well, yeah, you said that was your last point, and as you were talking, I was listening, but also thinking, like, is there anything I want to add? And I was like, I don't know. I feel like we kind of covered it. So I was just like, yep, that's good.
Done and done.
Done and done. Erin bowed it up.
I did. I mean, I guess just to reiterate, fast food isn't bad.
Right. Eat it if you want it. Do it.
Yep.
Make a choice. And to me, that's one of the biggest things is make a freaking choice, right? Like if you're going to do it, make the choice to do it. Don't just like do it on impulse or out of habit. Like if you're going to do it, just make a choice. Because if we've talked about this before, like, I feel like I need my hat to adjust real quick. The discipline of making a choice plays out no matter what we're doing, right? And that's like a muscle and a skill. And even if it's like I'm making a choice to get 2 cheeseburgers and fries and a milkshake, and I'm going to feel like garbage by the end of it because I'm going to be overly full. Okay. Even if you're consciously making that choice, like you evaluate it for a minute, like, you know what, I'm good with this and I'm going to do it. That being intentional plays out into every other meal you make a choice with. And so to me, that's one of the biggest things is like, let's just be conscious about it. Let's make an intentional choice for what you're going to do. Don't bullshit yourself. Don't pretend like you did make a choice or just, like just be aware, be mindful, pay attention to what you're doing and make a choice.
One of my clients phrased it as casting a vote for a winning day, for winning being like following his nutrition intentions. So you're casting a vote. So fast food isn't bad. You're casting a vote. So make a choice, make it intentional. Navigate those menus based on what sounds good to you, what your health goals are, and maybe how the entire dietary pattern has played out over the week. Those are probably my big things. And listen to your body. Like really just check in with your body and recognize that fast food isn't always a wonderful, tasty, earth-shattering experience, especially if you're having it regularly. Like be honest with yourself on that and be honest with the things that really are satisfying and don't talk yourself out of them.
Yeah.
Those are that's my wrap up.
That's her wrap up. All right. You got a meaning in the mundane?
Sweet. I do.
Kind of mumbled through that, didn't I? It's like a meaning in the mundane. You got a meaning in the mundane?
Yeah. So we have been working on this special protocol for Matt. He has Meniere's disease, and we found out that it has a close overlap with migraine. And so we've been doing this whole migraine prevention protocol. And it's a lot of things like, regular sleep schedule, regular exercise routine, all the things that we know make, healthy humans, right? And then there's this special dietary stuff that, let me just tell you, being on the receiving end of the thick packet of stuff from the doctor and have the doctor say, see you in 6 weeks is like, I mean, if I wasn't a dietitian, I don't know how people navigate this. So it's been a challenging couple weeks, but it's really, we're following this diet together. It's no chocolate, no nuts or peanut butter, no alcohol, no onions, no cheese, no aged meats. Like there's this whole thing that you cannot have, but we're doing it together, and we're just really intent on figuring out like what are the culprits. Well, so that's the backstory. This weekend, I was upstairs in our bedroom folding laundry, and I could hear Matt sitting on the couch downstairs watching some video and just laughing out loud. And laughing in the way that is so lighthearted and innate and uncontrollable, like it's just bubbling up out of him. Like he's just so, touched by whatever he's watching that it's just like the humor is just bursting out of him. And I'm hearing this upstairs and I'm laughing to myself because I'm like, man, it's been a while since I've heard that. Because it's been a really hard road for both of us. And he really has not felt like himself for months. And so just to hear him have a little bit of that uncontrollable, spontaneous laughter that is truly just coming from within, like I can't contain it, was just so heartwarming for me. And such a wonderful sound. So that's mine.
I like that a lot. Yay.
Yay for laughter.
Fun thing. Yeah, no kidding. And yay for Matt.
Yeah, I know. Making progress. How about you?
Mine was just yesterday. So, it was a holiday. It was Martin Luther King Day. It was like a half work day for me. Some things I was doing and kind of with my family and back in the office and, back and forth. And at one point, I was in the bathroom and Kathleen was getting ready. So like 10 o'clock in the morning or something. And we just kind of started talking about something. And then we started talking about something else. And before I knew it, we were both sitting on like our counters, like getting comfy, and we were in there like talking for like an hour, like
Oh, nice.
just about different things, and like not really any point, just enjoying talking to each other, like just kind of getting caught up in it. Like there was stuff I needed to stop and go get stuff done. But we were just like, yeah, I like talking to you. I like spending time with you. And it's just, a good reminder of that, because it's easy to get busy with stuff and kids and work and just things. Right. And so just to have like this moment of like, yeah, I really like you. I really like talking to you. And I like that we can still get caught up in a conversation. It was a fun little moment.
Yeah. And I love the spontaneity that can happen in marriage too. Like you live with this person, you see him every day, you talk every day, but if you just kind of leave that door open that we could, keep building on these subjects or go from one subject to another. And yes, I enjoy your company and enjoy talking with you. I think that's a magical thing that after, 10, 20, however many years of marriage or togetherness that you've had, that can be, fewer and far between. So
yes, it can. It's easy to just kind of lose track of that and let a lot of time go by. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So
cool.
is our next episode the one where we'll start the new thing, the new routine?
So.
Yeah.
The new routine.
So
we will be sure to again, follow our social. We will send out sort of notifications on what's coming and keep you informed. And then watch this space because we'll have a follow-up episode to this one. So
yeah. And remember, it's a science. Yeah.
It's a science.
Just remember, whatever you want to be is science. All right. Thank you everybody for listening.
Okay, have a good day.